Hey guys, welcome back to Raptor's Garage, and it's another video on axles, but from a different truck this time. This is basically an axle, rear axle, that's going to go on Paul's Heimdall, and we've managed to get hold of the Xcess 4x4 truss kit. Basically the kit comes with enough components for the rear and the front, retails for around about £130–140. Nigel has developed this, and if you know anything about Xcess 4x4, Nigel really knows his stuff, and he's really anal about making really good quality stuff. He did a lot of research into how he's come up with this whole trussing kit. It's made from Domex MC steel, which is basically 3 times stronger than mild steel. So as lightweight and thin as this looks, this is the equivalent of using some 9mm mild steel to strengthen up this rear axle. The kit comes basically with all the components to do the top of the axle on the rear. It comes with the basically strengthening truss kit to do the front axle. There's nothing that goes underneath it, because as basically Nigel says, is the whole idea of all of these guys lifting our trucks is to get enough clearance underneath your axles and everything and your diffs. So the last thing you want to do is start welding on more components and bits and pieces underneath your axles. So we've got some detailed instructions. We're going to take you through this. Paul's going to show you all the welding. It explains to you how you need to weld. Nigel's gone into quite a lot of detail about welding, because what you don't want to do is start putting too much heat into your axle. We said this before when we put basically the Gwyn Lewis diff pan cover on. You don't want to put too much heat into these axles because you don't want anything twisting and moving. I have read some sort of stories on axles just moving very slightly when they've done something like this, and they've had problems then for months and months, and it's finally been resolved because they've realised that the axle has moved just a little bit and seals start to leak and all sorts of things. So you've got to be careful, follow the instructions obviously that Nigel gives you. Paul's going to talk you through the welding as we go through it, but let's get this kit welded on and strengthen up this axle. Just on a side note, guys, on the video you watched previously where Paul fitted the Gwyn Lewis heavy duty diff cover, basically we cut the old one off on the front diff, replaced the whole thing with a much heavier duty cover. We were talking about the rear one. This is the Gwyn Lewis rear one, and as you can see, it welds here at the bottom and on the other side, so any mud and water can go through and just basically get drained out, and when you wash it, it's all going to get washed through. A lot of those bolt-on diff pan covers that Paul hates is because you bolt it on. It's a complete enclosed cup here at the bottom. Of course, all your mud and your water then just sits in there, even when you try and wash it out afterwards. If it's got drain holes in, I don't know, you've got little drain holes.
It's got one drain hole,
which you're going to get blocked with any bit of mud, isn't it? And then you're going to sit and it's going to actually start rotting your diff pan. Yeah. So, you know, the Gwyn Lewis one, much better option. You know, obviously if you can't weld, still far better off to go and find someone. Have enough beers, it always looks better. But yeah, Gwyn Lewis one is much better. Go and get a mate who does some welding rather than bolting on those ones that are just going to sit and rot your diff pan cover.
So I'm just thinking of beer goggles for welding. This is awesome.
That does the trick.
That's an awesome weld.
Yeah, I'm on the vodka glasses now.
No, I'm going to have to methylated spirits.
Yeah.
Cheaper.
Step one, we need to take some bits off, don't we?
According to just, you know, my pet hate about not getting decent instructions. You get decent instructions. There's a couple of bits you need to cut off.
Because everything, as you said, axles, you know, no two axles are the same, so everything's going to be a little bit different. Everything's going to fit a little bit different. There's a little bit of fettling, as there is of anything like this.
Yeah, well, depends what day they made the axle on. And you've got so many years of axles to work from. God knows what this one is. Looking at the instructions, the first thing that's got to come off is this bump stop. Where's the piece? That's the piece. No, that's the one. because that wants to go on the axle there, and obviously the bump stop's in the way, because this is going to become your bump stop, the top of this. So we need to cut that off, and we need to cut, I think that's
little
tab for the brake pipes, isn't it? Brake pipes? Yeah, brake pipes breather tab. And then dress the axle up. So get all the paint off. Dead important when you're doing this, get all the paint off, get it clean.
Yeah, good inch either side, Nigel was saying in the instructions, to give yourself plenty of working room, isn't it?
Yeah, get it clean. You can't weld to crap. You can try.
Yeah, but you won't get very far.
It doesn't work.
It's spittle.
Yeah, it may look a bit shitty. So we're only working on this side of the axle, because this trussing kit is only for the long side of the axle. Everything's hit the floor. It's for the long side of the axle. Same for the front. It's all the, because that's the side you're going to bend the brake.
Yeah, and I've just said like 99.9% of the time, that's the side it's going to go.
It's 100% of the time. Never seen anyone. Well, no, tell a lie. I have seen someone bend that side, but they rolled it. But yeah, this is the side we're working on. So get all the paint off this, paint off the end, and we have got one plate to weld on this side. Where's the bit?
So what happens once these are in? The cup isn't going to fit over the top anymore, is it?
No. Well, the short side, you've got. That's what's going in on the short. Sorry, the long side. But there's a short end piece, so that's all going to get joined together like that. We'll show you this once we start welding it all in. But to even everything up, there's a couple of big blocks. Yeah, you can see them, which go on top of the axle.
So then when your spring cup holder goes on, you can sit on top of it again.
Yep.
You know, without interfering.
Yeah. So we've got new, basically spring tops, spring cup tops.
Tops. Yeah.
Tops. Some.
Just really fancy 12mm laser cut steel.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Basically where your spring goes.
Yeah.
We'll show you it all. But yeah, let's get cutting and cleaning, and we'll show you this when we've dressed it all up and cut all the bits off. I like them.
It's a big piece of metal.
It's not an episode until all the grinders come out. I'm telling you.
So we're taking those brackets off, guys. We've taken all the paint off, taking it back to bare metal, giving it a really good clean up. And then Paul spent about half an hour now just doing a bit of fettling on this, because as Nigel says, I mean, he had 5 different axles to work all this from. Every one of them was different. So Paul spent a bit of time, he's had it in the vise, he's just squashed it in a little bit. You'll find with this one, this fits pretty much almost snug around the axle. The front one tends to sit a little bit high. You'll see that when we fit that one. So Paul's had it in the vise a bit, just managed to kind of crimp it in a little bit. He's taken a little bit off the edges, smoothed it all up, bit of time, and it now fits really nice, because you don't want too much of a gap to try and fill when you're doing the welding. With this piece at the end here, it's rocking a little bit, so what we're going to do is Paul's going to weld that piece in, and then we're going to basically put the bolts in here, pull the whole thing down, just bend it just a little bit. It's only a little bit of a tweak in order to weld that piece. Then basically going to join these 2 pieces up, weld this piece in place as well, and that's going to be it. So Paul's going to take you around now. It comes with a diagram that actually shows you how to go about welding it, because essentially you're going from one point to another point furthest away, so that you're not putting too much heat in the same area at the same time. Nigel advises in the instructions, basically let it cool for twice as long as you're actually welding. You don't want too much heat going into this axle.
Yeah, as Chris was just saying, I've spent a little bit of time fettling this. Not much. You know, probably not as long as you would have with the terra firma one.
No.
Nothing, we shan't say anything about that. But for what, you know, this is a really good fit. Like Chris was just saying, there's no 2 axles the same. You'll never find 2 axles that are identical, because they were all hand welded for a start. They were put in a jig, all hand welded, so you can have different thicknesses of welds and all that. So there's always a bit of playing around with them. But like, I've just got that to fit really well now. I'm happy with it. I can start tacking it on. And there is a welding diagram, and that's not the one. No, that is the one. There you go. There's one for the front, one for the back. There is a sequence for welding, like 1 weld, 2 weld, 3 weld, 4 weld. That's all, like doing a sill, like putting the bolts in a sill in the head. And it's just a case of tack, 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 small weld, let it cool, and just keep working your way around. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but that's what we're going to do. And I have no idea how I'm going to paint it, because I really should have got some weld through primer, really.
I know, that's something the other day I was reading on a forum, but someone just said it's absolute rubbish. He said,
it is.
Yeah.
It is. I'm just thinking, after painting it, plugging the end and dipping it in a bucket of paint.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Just get.
I was trying to think how we need it almost like a bath, don't you? To sink it in
want
rather than
want a piece of tube full of paint and just dip it in one end. But we'll come to that when we come to it.
Yeah.
But right, I'm gonna get the welder out, get this on. I'm really happy with that. That's a real good fit. I like it. I like it, and I like it a lot. Step 1 done. That's the first piece. That's the long piece welded in. It's not gone in too badly. So I'm welding it outside as well. That I've just finished welding, and I've given this plenty of time to cool, and I can put my hand on it. It's warm, but I can hold my hand on it. It's warmer there where it's acted as a little bit of a heat sink. But just take your time when you're welding them. Don't go mad at it, and it keeps the heat out the axle. And that's one of the reasons why I've done it outside. It helps it cool. The wind's blowing around. There's not much wind, but a little bit blowing through the axle helps to keep it cool as well. There we go. That's the first bit done, and I think that looks amazing. That looks so cool. That's rolling. The sound is on.
We've got someone with a chainsaw in the background again.
It's every time someone's got a chainsaw going. You'd think we'd lived somewhere like remote.
Yeah. That's come out nice, hasn't it?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is this. It literally is the simplest kit to put on.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be fantastic, especially with these little spacer blocks. Give the axle a little lift, because my truck needs it.
Of course it does. So we're going to do the front one another day when we're.
Yeah, well, we'll get this one on, and while we've got the truck jacked up, we'll swing it round, weld the front one on in situ. Because you can actually put these on in situ, guys, but we've got this axle out, and it's much easier to do it this way.
Yeah.
Because I'm still building this axle up. I've got to get it cleaned and painted.
Plus, if you do it in situ, aren't you, you're going to get a bit of debris inside from the heat and everything like that. So
yeah,
if you do that,
you run the risk of metal.
Run it a couple of hundred miles and then change your diff oil and clear it all out. But yeah, great bit of kit, Nige. You know we love your diffs that you build. So we've got that coming up soon, fitting that on Red 5. We'll be fitting this kit as well on the back of that. But next one, get this onto Heimdall. You're going to paint it.
Paint it,
try and get the paint into all the different areas.
Try and work out how to fill up all the gaps with paint.
Yeah.
But no, I love it.
That's done.
I can't see there being any issues with that, and that axle's going to be really strong now.
Yeah.
Going to be running the truck this year for, well, we're not leaving the country this year, so I'm going to be running it backwards and forwards to Wales and doing some lanes and doing a lot of diving. So truck's going to have a lot of weight in it, so this is going to be a big help.
Yeah.
But yeah, love it.
Cool, guys. Don't forget to click and like underneath. And if you want to go and buy us a beer at any time, pop over to buymeacoffee.com. Raptor's Garage. We do feature basically some additional videos, posts and stuff like that. We're going to keep adding to that as the kind of subscriptions build up and everything, but it always helps out. Much appreciated. And of course, we've still got the shop where you can buy the t-shirts, and we've got new t-shirt designs coming very soon.
I've not seen that.
No, you haven't.
Cool.
Cheers, guys. See you in the next video.
See you later.